Welcome, Quiz Warriors. This is the Australia General Knowledge Quiz. 40 tasty questions about Aussie life, food, beaches, wildlife, history, and all things down under. No peeking, no cheating. Ready to prove you're basically an honorary Aussie? 1. Which city hosts the famous annual gay and lesbian Mardi Gras? Sydney, Melbourne, or Adelaide? 2. On which date is Anzac Day observed across Australia? April 1st, April 25th, or May 25th? 3. Which sponge cake coated in chocolate and coconut is an Aussie classic? Pavlova, Lamington, or Anzac biscuit? 4. Which legendary train travels between Adelaide and Darwin through the outback? The Gone, Indian Pacific, or the Overland? 5. Which bird is famous in Australia for its distinctive laughing call? Magpie, kookaburra, or cockatoo? 6. Which Australian state is home to the Barossa Valley wine region? Victoria, New South Wales, or South Australia? 7. Which Australian scientist proved that H. pylori bacteria can cause stomach ulcers? Barry Marshall, Howard Florey, or Fiona Wood? 8. Which Australian actor plays Thor in the Marvel Cinematic Universe? Hugh Jackman, Chris Hemsworth, or Guy Pearce? 9. What is the famous scenic coastal route in Victoria known for the 12 Apostles? Pacific Highway, Great Ocean Road, or Air Highway? 10. Which Australian city is famous for its laneways, street art, and cafe culture? Melbourne, Brisbane, or Perth? 11. Which tree-dwelling marsupial feeds mainly on eucalyptus leaves? Wallaby, koala, or wombat? 12. Who became an international wildlife TV star with The Crocodile Hunter? David Attenborough, John Williamson, or Steve Irwin? 13. What name describes the traditional Aboriginal style that uses repeated dots to create images? Dot painting, Impressionism, or Pointillism? 14. Which iconic steel arch bridge spans Sydney Harbour? Harbour Tunnel, Sydney Harbour Bridge, or Anzac Bridge? 15. Which author wrote the Australian novel The Secret River? Tim Winton, Kate Grenville, or Peter Carey? 16. Which traditional instrument produces a long droning sound in Aboriginal music? Didgeridoo, tin whistle, or guitar? 17. Which city is nicknamed the Festival City for major arts events like the Adelaide Festival? Hobart, Adelaide, or Darwin? 18. Which mining giant started as Broken Hill Proprietary? Rio Tinto, Fortescue, or BHP? 19. Which Australian city hosted the 2018 Commonwealth Games? Gold Coast, Perth, or Canberra? 20. Who directed the Mad Max film series? Peter Jackson, George Miller, or Baz Luhrmann? 21. Which commonly used term refers to Indigenous Australian creation stories and lore? Jacurpa, songlines, or Dreamtime? 22. Which nearby island is famous for its nightly Little Penguin Parade? Phillip Island, Rottnest Island, or Lord Howe Island? 23. Which egg-laying mammal native to Australia has a duck-like bill? Echidna, platypus, or koala? 24. What is the name of Australia's largest cricket stadium, often called the G? Sydney Cricket Ground, Adelaide Oval, or Melbourne Cricket Ground, MCG? 25. What annual festival transforms Sydney with lights, music, and installations each winter? Vivid Sydney, Dark Mofo, or Mona Foma? 26. Which Australian poet wrote My Country with the famous line, I love a sunburned country? Banjo Patterson, Dorothea McKellar, or Henry Lawson? 27. Which strait separates mainland Australia from Tasmania? Torres Strait, Cook Strait, or Bay Strait? 28. On which day does the famous Sydney to Hobart Yacht Race traditionally start? Boxing Day, December 26th, Australia Day, January 26th, or Anzac Day, April 25th? 29. Which plant is the source of the essential oil commonly called tea tree oil? Eucalyptus, Melaleuca alternifolia, tea tree, or lavender? 30. Which Australian novelist won the Nobel Prize in Literature in 1973? Thomas Keneally, Peter Carey, or Patrick White? 31. Which Australian rock band recorded the album Back in Black? AC/DC, INXS, or Men at Work? 32. Which island off Queensland is known as the world's largest sand island? Moreton Island, Fraser Island, or Lord Howe Island? 33. What does the phrase bush tucker refer to? Traditional clothing, native Australian food, or modern camping gear? 34. Which Australian city hosted Expo 88, a World's Fair event? Brisbane, Adelaide, or Perth? 35. At an Aussie barbie, what do people commonly call sausages? Steaks, sausages, snags, or fish? 36. What are the National Film and Television Awards in Australia called? Logie Awards, BAFTA, or ACTA Awards? 37. Which Australian tennis legend holds the record for most Grand Slam singles titles? Margaret Court, Yvonne Goolagong, or Samantha Stosur? 38. Who invented the modern flight data, recorded the black box? Lawrence Hargrave, David Warren, or William Bland? 39. What does the acronym ABC stand for in Australian broadcasting? Australian Broadcasting Company, Australian Broadcasting Council, or Australian Broadcasting Corporation? 40. Which famous zoo sits on a harbourside site and is a major Sydney attraction? Taronga Zoo, Melbourne Zoo, or Australia Zoo? 'Well done, you question conqueror. How many did you nail? Drop your score in the comments. Humble brag or honest cry, we want it all. Like, subscribe, and smash that bell for more geography, culture, and snackable trivia. Until next time, stay curious, keep learning, and remember, if you got more than half right, you officially have some knowledge of Australia. Cheers, mate.